Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And as a lot of you know, I just made my way back to New York. For those of you that think I'm in the city, I keep trying to tell you, not in the city, not near the city. The city in Long Island is a minuscule physical portion of a much larger New York State. That much larger part of New York State has almost 10 million people in it and is vastly different from what goes on in the city. I just want to let people know that, first and foremost, if you've ever visited Cooperstown, New York, that's a lot closer to me. That's about 20 minutes away, and that reflects the lifestyle here. However, a lot of you also know that before I got back into this, I live in a small college town, the college that I actually went to, SUNY Oneonta. Shout out to SUNY Oneonta. Somehow, I think I'm still ranked like one of the top 15 most notable alumni. Never graduated, beauty school dropout. Kids, follow your dreams, right? And before that, I was running a bar in this town. And that bar is right behind you, the Red Jug Pub. You can see the little thing above it. So I get back into town about 12:30 on Friday night after driving straight through 14 hours from Iowa. And I see the Jug is closed. And I'm like, wait a minute. I saw that they, just the other day they had a thing. I follow their Twitter feed. I used to be in charge of it. And I go, well, that's odd. What happened? So pull over to the side and I go into the pizza shop that a lot of you know I hang out in. And I start talking to Dan. And he says, yeah, somebody popped hot. So we're going to get into all of it and how this is going to relate to lockdown 2, especially in this state, for sure. Maybe wrong. Who knows? I've gotten things wrong in the past. But what I see happening is now they're bringing the contact tracers upstate throughout the state, right? They've been pushing for the mail-in ballots. And they're having explosions of cases, even though there's nobody's in the hospital from the cases I'm going to talk about. And most people are completely asymptomatic, including the person that got this place shut down and now is having it sprayed down in some kind of an Orwellian festivus of lies with disinfectant and oh my goodness. Because remember, in the UK, they've got legislation out there where they say, you know what? We could bulldoze your private home or business if it was too infected with this or anything else. That's where we're at in 2020. So, guys, before we get there, I want to remind everybody, this is harmful content, apparently. We're fully demonetized here, but I still want you to check out my work for free. Shade the Motion Picture, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined. Very important right now. If you've not seen those pictures, they're free in the playlist section, documentaries, as well as Loose Change Final Cut and Fabled Enemies. And I know, 9/11, the 19th anniversary coming up, it feels like distant history at this point. So important to understand what happened there. And if you get a chance to watch those, you're going to have a much better idea that the narrative you've been told is very different than the reality. You can also support me over on Rockfin, guys. If we get kicked off of here for being too harmful, even though we have 0 strikes, right? And we cover mainstream articles, and we're going to talk about so many different facets right now. This is where you're going to find me. You can make a free account. We're almost at 5,000. I'd love to get 5,000 followers over there. That makes me know that we'll at least have a base if we're kicked off of YouTube, Google, Alphabet, right? All extensions of the media, military, industrial complex, by the way. And you can support me financially in the GoFundMe. There's only a couple days left. I'd love to at least get it to 3K before we hit September 1st. I understand if we can't, but hey, $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. Let's get to it. SUNY Oneonta has the worst outbreak. I was going to do this story yesterday, right? But I wanted to wait. I wanted to see if Cuomo was going to make a comment specifically on my area now that I have contact tracers here. Okay? Now let me explain to you what that means. The way that they pinned this person in the Jug, right? And the Jug I do not believe is mentioned in that article, okay? Is that I think initially it was 2 and then they had 9 positives, and out of those 9, I think 1 person was mildly sick or had symptoms. And then they brought the contact tracers in. Where were you? Who'd you talk to? And then they just test. They're throwing darts. Test. With a PCR test, I believe. Now, if I'm wrong and it's something other than the PCR test, please correct me. But as we know now, the PCR test, even by Bill Gates' standards, our dark overlord, is pure garbage. Most of the tests are pure garbage. In fact, we do it live. Thumbs the video up, subscribe and share. Bill Gates tests garbage. Let's see. What is it? Completely garbage. Completely garbage. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there that have to do mental gymnastics here and say, well, Bill Gates is right that we need a vaccine, but saying the tests are completely garbage, that's not an oxymoron. That's not something that kind of goes against reality. My head hurts, mental gymnastics, I just want it to end. I want to believe. But he's saying they're complete garbage, right? And we know about the false positives. And we know that that's not what the PCR test has been developed for. Now remember, in China, right, the way they were doing it was not some kind of swab test, all right? They were bringing people in for CAT scans of their lungs. It's very different. Remember that very different reality? But somehow we made all these tests that coincide with almost any other coronavirus, aka a cold or the flu. Right? Is this not getting over the top? And the CDC, I believe as of July 30th, there's two people that have now covered this very well. Jamie Deluxe and the last American vagabond, Ryan. And, Ryan did a great job showing you that they have not taken any isolates of this virus as of yet. Now, what I'd like the Burmese Brigade out there to do is to find out when they found human isolates of things like H1N1, right, when they were able to do that, because they found H1N1, for instance, which was this year's influenza B, by the way. Remember, we had a huge, terrible flu season before this. H1N1. That was influenza B, which their own vaccine was not even 37% effective against, by the way, by their own numbers. Again, we're talking CDC numbers, real numbers here, okay? So you look at that, and they say they still have not isolated the virus as of July 31st. So how are we doing all these vaccines, even plasma treatment, if they haven't isolated anything, right? They're just pulling antibodies out of the people that are random. It's very, very odd. But find out when they had the isolates of H1N1, maybe SARS-CoV-1. If anybody can send that to me DM style, that's what I need you for, Burmese Brigade. I was looking into it. I was having a hard time finding it. So now you have all that. So now they find one person in this bar. One person, okay? And that's it. It's shut down. It's downtown. They test everybody, and now they're in your life, and they're contact tracing all these other people. People wearing masks on the street, LARPing more. So just so everybody understands, where we're at officially, and this is almost 2 days ago now, is that they have 29 official cases. All right? Oh, what just happened there? Oh, there we go. Officials from upstate and from SUNY Health and Welfare Department will assist SUNY Oneonta officials for mandatory rapid pool testing of about 3,000 students over a 3-day period. You see, by Monday, when City College and state system officials meet at SUNY COVID control room update, the results should indicate how big the problem Oneonta's outbreak is. So tomorrow, you're going to find out that they're going to start ramping it up. And why are they ramping it up? They're getting ready for lockdown 2. Bars have to close, right? Restaurants will only be able to do takeout. No more dine-in, only dine outside. Continuing to restrict, even though New York's infection rate is now below 1%, okay? And the reality is it was hit so hard that it may have developed what they don't want to talk about, herd immunity, just like Sweden did with no masks and no lockdown. And still did better numbers, I believe, than Spain, Belgium, Italy, right? No lockdowns, no masks, no hysteria, no problem. In fact, we do it live, so let's just go down to it. For the outbreaks anyway, they had 57 per 100,000 people die. That was their death rate, right? Belgium was 87. Spain 62, Britain 62, and Italy 58. All of them went into lockdown. And now you have scientists talking about Sweden and their herd immunity, and it's utter silence everywhere in the media. Now, New York, where it got hit the hardest, and remember, I believe this is a real thing. I don't want to get into the debate of where it came from, and the CCP saying it was a bioweapon from the United States, and Iran agreeing, and Michael Pompeo saying it leaked from a virus out in Wuhan, and the counter narratives that are out there that are never really discussed in the mainstream, right? We're not even going to get into that. But now they want to push for compulsory vaccinations. And remember, Bill Gates, what's he want? A lockdown until 2022. He's talked about that. He's telling you that the tests are garbage. A lockdown until 2022. And then a vaccine where we've shown the video of him saying, we don't know if they will work. We don't know if they will work to stop transmission. We don't know if they will work to lower the death rate, which at this point, officially from the WHO, which is an organization I do not like or get behind, but this platform, YouTube, demands that I quote them, has a death rate of 0.6%. Okay, reported by Bloomberg, and it really isn't even a report by Bloomberg. It is a video clip of her actually saying that at a press conference, the representative for the WHO. So what are we doing? We're beyond LARPing at this point, okay? If you have a larger infection rate and spike, now all of a sudden, you're going to have to lock down harder in New York, and Cuomo will be the first one behind that. We climbed the mountain once, we're not going to do it again. And he already said that this is going to it could ricochet across the country and last forever. These are his words. The facts aren't the facts. His words. And now my heart breaks, as because of this, not only is the business that I used to run shut down, right? I can't imagine if I was still doing this right now during all this. I don't think I'd be able to, obviously, but I'm pretty sure I know who the guy is in the mask there. And, they're sitting there disinfecting the place when, it was as busy as it could be with the restrictions that this guy put in, number one. And it has a staff of about 30 people, which may be lower now, maybe 20 people, and only one popped hot, and they've already tested all these people. I expect that we're going to see a ton more positives, right? And apparently the plan is if it hits 100, like, it's over again, right? Everything goes back to online. And basically 90+% of what they're doing at this school is now online. So I'm going to ask everybody out there, when are we going to stand up to the madness? Because this is not ending. The summer is over now, okay? We are now moving into the fall, and then election season. This, I know a lot of people don't equate New York in any way with middle America, but I assure you, again, upstate New York is very, very similar to middle America. And these people's lives are now being eviscerated. When I came in, not only was the Jug closed, but Shooters, another bar/restaurant that had come in the last couple of years, shut down. Okay? The Oak, the Black Oak Tavern, has not been open since this. A staple in Oneonta for, I believe, 30, maybe even 40 plus years. I think they celebrated their 40th birthday a couple years ago. That is shut down. All right? You look at what has happened to another one, Jimmy T's, a business run by a very good friend of mine of 20 plus years who I discussed this. That is shut down. They don't want to let you open this. And when I say they, I'm talking about the predator class. And I'm talking about their minions like Cuomo. That is what he is. He is a mouthpiece for billionaires that per capita, prior to this, who knows where they are right now staying, but we're the densest in New York State, New York City in particular. We've gone over that. His donors are billionaires. He's given this state to billionaires. Contact trace. Listen, guys, right now, after this, there is a much better chance that other businesses will get shut down because of the contact tracing and the demands for testing. I promise you, if a contact tracer comes anywhere near me, I am going to immediately tell them they must leave. And if they don't, I'm just going live with it. And I'm going to need you guys to spread that. Because this is it, man. You're going to have to arrest me. I'm not taking some test that's totally arbitrary, that puts an innately fascistic, authoritarian, illegal system into my life on behalf of Michael Bloomberg and the gang. Right? You think it's a coincidence that Bloomberg gets contact tracing and Gates gets education and then Schmidt gets the rest? And by the way, people are moving out. We need more billionaires to come in. Bezos, will you come in? Oh, you will? Oh, you'll come in and rent some of the property that's now defunct? So get ready for lockdown 2. And if you don't think this model will be used by other authoritarians in other states, especially, towards the election, start massively testing and bringing in contact tracing of college students and then the surrounding areas and businesses, that's the plan, Stan. They'll say the flu is already up, the cold is up, right? And now the second wave that they've all predicted will start to spike. And remember, these cases, I'm going to say it again, out of the 29, nobody's in the hospital. All right? I want to say it again, nobody's in the hospital. And when they test this, and let's say they come back with a couple hundred, again, that's a speculation. If they're testing 3,000, I could see a couple hundred positives, but let's say you get that. All right, doesn't that just show that this is completely asymptomatic and nobody is going to the hospital, let alone dying, right? And then they've been in the general populace for well over a week, and nobody's in our hospitals, and nobody's dying. What the fuck is going on here? It's tough, guys. So we got to fight back now. We got to push back now. You got to start organizing with other local businesses in every state, New York in particular, and say lockdown over. If lockdown's not over by now, November 1st, full throttle, what are we doing? What are we doing? Again, I'm going to quote the authoritative sources that we have. Remdesivir and dextromethasone are effective. All right? Remdesivir, in some people's opinions, mimics hydroxychloroquine. Okay, I'm just saying that because it does. And then you have Yale epidemiologists, and we're going to do this live because God forbid the fact checkers say that Jason Burmis is a liar. All right? Newsweek, we have Yale epidemiologists writing op-eds saying the key to defeating COVID-19 already exists, citing 300 plus papers, this guy. Okay? 300 peer-reviewed publications. Okay? This guy. He's got 300 peer-reviewed publications. He's not some chump. Okay? Saying this. And he's citing again and again that this absolutely works. But I can't say it works. The president can't say it works. But just that, and then they're openly talking about steroid treatments other than dextromethasone. Some people say budesonide, right? We've talked about others. We talked about those from the very beginning. So if those are all readily available, and we have them already, and we can lower the death rate that way, what is going on? Lockdown 2 is coming. And another great thing that I saw both, again, Jamie Deluxe and Ryan, the Last American Vagabond, talk about was this Rockefeller document, Lockstep. And we're going to be doing a deep dive into Lockstep. But Lockstep is everything I've talked about in this authoritarian, they treat you like children takeover, right? And they already talk to us like children. I don't know about you guys, but I got sick of being told that Santa Claus was real at about 10. About 10, I was like, you know what? You can start giving me more and more truth. I'd seen some things as a kid, and you harden up a little bit. You see more and more of reality, and you don't like getting lied to. And certainly by adulthood, you don't appreciate the powers that be not only lying to you on a regular basis, but brainwashing those around you and laughing about it. And I mean literally in your face. And I'm not down. So guys, now's the time. If you're not thinking about organizing today, if you're not calling somebody today, and you're a small business owner or have what's left, or you're just done with this nonsense, today's the day. Today's the day. So like, share, and subscribe. We're going to be doing several videos today. I think I'm going to take a walk around town, and we'll see what it looks like. But man, I saw so many people in masks already, and it's hurting. It hurts me. So $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. Big donors need you now more than ever. The month is almost up. Rockfin, that's where I'm going to be if I'm taking off here for daring to go with harmful content. And who knows, maybe it will be harmful content that I go against contact tracers live if they come in, because I'm not going to put up with that. So create a free account. Please follow me over there as well. All the documentary films, so important. Please go check them out today. Shade in particular, Bill Gates, I get it. It's hip to be square, right? It's cool to talk about Bill Gates and all these crazy things that are going on. Bill Gates gets about a 20-minute section in Shade the Motion Picture, okay? I've been hip to Bill Gates for some time because, he's an outward eugenicist. So if you haven't seen Shade, I recommend it. Hit the t-shirt shop. Remember, your life matters. Your skin color shouldn't have to. We're content of character people, and we need the content of a lot of characters right now to come together against this oppressive predator class and its minions and get rid of all this lockdowns. Because as soon as lockdown 2 starts happening, that's it. That's a wrap, folks. We'll be able to push back even less. So I love you guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you all on the flip side.